Hello, everyone. My name is Smith Yule, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of WeLocalize, having started the company 25 years ago now. This year's our anniversary with my wife, Julia. And at the start, there were certain values which were critical to us, and they've remained so ever since. And the spirit of diversity and inclusion, inclusive speech, equality across the globe, across all of our locations. Those have been the fabric of the company from the beginning. And it's interesting now that we can make that fabric even stronger through certain technologies, particularly around natural language processing. So what Olga is going to describe is some of the innovation that we've created to institutionalize these concepts, meaning using NLP to actually uncover where we can make improvements in inclusive speech. And I think they're very, very appropriate and also very innovative approaches to these important topics. So I'll turn it over to you, Olga.
Thank you, Smith. So my name is Olga Brigavaya, and I lead AI innovation and R&D at WeLocalize. And indeed, the subject could not be more important, both for us at WeLocalize or for us as service providers and for our clients. If you think about it, things like offensive speech, things like profanities, things like recently the subject of social bias or gender bias or other bias have gained more and more importance, and they can be equally inbound and they can be equally outbound. If you look at the company's content, certain things that have to do with diversity and inclusion can be spotted in companies' own content, such as you can find such things even in things like user interface. You can find such things even in outbound content, such as online health systems. Even in legal content, there are certain things that maybe we would not pay attention to earlier, but now we pay things to. Maybe the most common examples would be things like redline or things like master-slave dependency in the software. And we want to spot those things, and we want to replace them with more inclusive equivalents. The great thing is that there are AI tools or NLP-based tools, and we do a lot of work around those tools at WeLocalize that can help you spot such instances en masse. You don't need to go one by one. You can spot those instances and you can actually replace them automatically, preserving morphology and preserving the rules of the language. And you can actually publish your content without such instances. Now, we all understand that this is not just English language issue. It is a global issue. And there are multiple tools, there are language models, there are keyword spotting that can actually allow you to spot such instances in other languages and also preserve your brand and protect your brand in other geos. So here is AI helping you protect your brand. Again, now we're talking about outbound content in other geos and in other markets. We've had a lot of conversations with our customers, and we know that it's not just one customer problem. This is actually a problem that a lot of our customers are tackling. The most interesting thing is that when we talk to our customers, they would love to share their findings, share the keyword lists, share the common vocabulary, because a lot of times problematic vocabulary is actually similar across our customer base. Now, what can we do as LSPs? We can actually train machine translation engines, for instance, to spot such content, remove such content, and prevent such content from appearing in machine translation engines translations. Let's talk for a second about inbound content, or user-generated content. Where would it appear? It can appear in forums, it can appear in feedback, it can appear in inbound email, or if, for instance, we're talking about opinion portal or social media platform, it can happen quite frequently that such content would be just appear in user blogs or appear in user postings. And it is very important that we as language service providers or NLP service providers can actually help our customers use AI to capture such content automatically, prevent it from being published, flag it, and again, not only preserve the brand, but also preserve the emotional health and emotional state of the end users. Now, what we can do in terms of AI, if I could draw a diagram, you can actually use language models trained on offensive content and trained on profanities. So such content can actually be spotted and flagged. Again, you can run substitution lists. You can use majority polling for sentiment analysis, and you can apply polarity for positive and negative sentiment. I was asked a question. What if, for instance, there is a dominance of inclusion question? What if there is a dominance of masculine versus feminine pronouns in the content? How does it play in the inclusion, or masculine or feminine names? How does it play in terms of inclusion and trend toward inclusion? Yes, in certain content, like for instance, in certain manuals or in certain outbound content, there could be dominance of masculine versus feminine pronouns. And that's again something that can be flagged and taken back to the customer. The customer can consider, hey, maybe I want to revisit it. Maybe I want to rewrite it. And that's something that, again, it will be customer's decision, but it definitely can be flagged, unless, of course, it's in the rules of the target language that sometimes in certain languages, it is just the rules dictate that there is more masculine than feminine. So AI can actually be a help both for diversity and inclusion, both for sensitive content detection, both for detecting profanities or non-inclusive speech or offensive speech. One thing I want to mention, maybe as last thing I want to mention, there is a lot of talk about AI and bias. What is AI trained on? AI is trained on data. Data is legacy. Legacy data is trained on historic phenomena. Certain historic phenomena is skewed towards certain things because certain things were happening in history. And that generates racial, social, gender bias towards historic minorities. So AI can both capture bias and generate bias. Luckily, companies like ours can actually help you work with your data, help you work with your algorithms, and can actually help you catch that AI bias and make sure that your AI models actually do not generate bias and capture bias. So we at WeLocalize are very attentive at what AI can produce and what AI and NLP can actually do to promote diversity, inclusion, and capturing and removing potentially offensive content. So my crystal ball, this will continue to remain a very important subject. And with advancements in AI, with advancements in deep learning and machine learning and neural network, we will eventually be coming closer and closer to solve this problem. And Smith, with that, back to you.
Thanks, Olga. It's one thing to talk about the importance of these topics, and it's another to follow it up with action. And these are the actions that WeLocalize is taking to apply AI to these challenges. And we also welcome the industry as a whole. And I think the industry is uniquely positioned to do so. So if you've got interest and would like to collaborate or share some ideas, we're very much open to that as well. Thank you very much.